In one of the world's great acts of independence, Ayn Rand declares, in effect, that the essence of the Sermon on the Mount, along with everything it presupposes and everything it implies, is evil. The idea that the good consists in achieving the good of others, of your neighbors, of your country, even of your enemies, of anyone or anything, real or imagined, that is not you. The idea that you must sacrifice your personal values without even the expectation of return. The idea that nobility means being selfless and wickedness means being concerned with self. The idea that morality is synonymous with altruism and immorality synonymous with egoism. All of this is challenged in Atlas Shrugged. Of this whole approach to good and evil, Ayn Rand asked questions no one dared to ask. What, she asked, is the good according to this morality? Now, supposedly, it's that you achieve the good of others. But what then is their good? Well, presumably that they achieve the good of still other people. But then we're again faced with the same unanswered question. What is the good of these other people? To the question, what is the good, this approach to morality actually offers no answer. It gives you only a chain of arrows leading to nowhere, a string of zeros adding up to nothing. The code upholds no ultimate value, no positive ideal. It is unconcerned with the main task of ethics, namely of defining the good that men must live up to. Now, what does this do to men in actual practice? It means that it's impossible to know whether one has ever achieved the good or failed in the attempt. Now, what does this do to a man of self-esteem? To anyone striving to be good, this code declares that you have never done enough. No matter how much you've sacrificed, you can never achieve your own moral perfection. You can never reach the good. Have you ever wondered why the demands for sacrifice can continue to grow and grow? The income tax, for instance, started off as something that would only, of course, apply to the very rich, and which, of course, would be capped at 7% of income. But then it grew to 15%, 20%, 25% of all income, and included in its clutches more and more productive citizens. Now, can we at any stage protest that we've sacrificed enough, that we've already achieved the good of others? Don't be so naive. Who said the good is achievable? Or why is it, decade after decade, as the U.S. pours money into Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, still more handouts are demanded from us? Can we ever protest that we've sacrificed enough, that we've achieved the good of others? Don't be so naive. Why do you think the good is achievable? Therefore, the result to any rational person striving to be good is a state of moral anxiety, self-doubt, and guilt. No matter how much he has sacrificed, the thought haunts him that he could have sacrificed still more. Most good people, therefore, stop trying to be 100% moral, and they thereby abandon the quest for self-esteem. Now, what of the scoundrels who are actually unconcerned with being moral? No matter the nature of their concrete actions or how dreadful the outcome so far, so long as their motive is not self-interest, anything is permitted to them. Whatever they do, they retain the halo of morality. Have you ever wondered why, when the so-called humanitarians at the UN produce debacle after debacle and corruption after corruption, their power and prestige only increase? Have you ever wondered why, when government program after government program leads to disaster, when Social Security undermines a person's retirement and public education undermines a child's mind, the power of these programs only increases? Have you ever wondered why, as individuals were murdered in the thousands and tens of thousands in communist Russia and China, onlookers in the East and West alike said, "Give them more time. They may eventually achieve the good of others"? Atlas Shrugged gives us the answer. Nothing can count as failure to achieve the good of others, because nothing counts as success. To quote from Atlas, quote, "The good of others is a magic formula that transforms anything into gold, a formula to be recited as a guarantee of moral glory and as a fumigator for any action, even the slaughter of a continent. You need no proof, no reasons, no success. All you need to know is that your motive was the good of others, not your own. Your only definition of the good is a negation. The good is the non-good for me." Close quote. So what we have here is a negative morality. This code is unable to specify the nature of the good, but it does define in precise detail the nature of evil. To be concerned with advancing your own interests is evil. To escape evil, therefore, you must sacrifice your values. The concrete advice the code offers is sacrifice, sacrifice, and then sacrifice some more. This is the real focus of the code and why Ayn Rand names it the morality of sacrifice. Sacrifice your money to strangers who have not earned it, proclaims the Sermon on the Mount, and sacrifice your love to enemies you hate. Sacrifice the values of both matter and spirit. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. But does the morality of sacrifice not contain some enormous hidden double standard? As Ayn Rand asks in Atlas Shrugged, and all further quotes will be from the novel unless I indicate otherwise. Quote, "Why is it moral to serve the happiness of others, but not your own? Why is it immoral to produce a value and keep it, but moral to give it away? And if it is not moral for you to keep a value, why is it moral for others to accept it? If you are selfless and virtuous when you give it, are they not selfish and vicious when they take it? Does virtue consist of serving vice? Is the purpose of those who are good self-immolation for the sake of those who are evil?" Close quote. Now, what is the Sermon on the Mount's answer to these questions? Well, to quote again from Atlas, "The monstrance answer is no, the takers are not evil, provided they did not earn the value you gave them. It is not immoral for them to accept it, provided they are unable to produce it, unable to deserve it, unable to give you any value in return." Close quote. Why, for instance, do drug companies not have the right to sell their inventions to anyone eager to buy them? Because the companies invented them. Now, why do we, the public, through the FDA, have the right to dictate what drugs these companies can and cannot sell, how they have to research, test, manufacture, and label the drugs, what uses the drugs can be prescribed for, and who can purchase them? What gives us this incredible power? The fact that we didn't invent the drugs. Or why does an employee not have the right to invest all his income as he judges best for his old age? Because he earned the money. Why do we, the public, have the right to take part of his income, pool it into a so-called insurance scheme, and dole it out to whoever supposedly needs it? Because we didn't earn the money. Quote, "Such is the secret core of your creed, the other half of your double standard. It is immoral to live by your own effort, but moral to live by the effort of others. It is immoral to consume your own product, but moral to consume the product of others. It is the parasites who are the moral justification for the existence of the producers, but the existence of the producers is an end in itself." close quote.